On the bench today is a Wurlitzer. 100cc is the model number. Don't really know much about this. Probably mid-60s vintage, I would guess, maybe even late 60s. I have done some research on these. Can't find anything about them other than a couple of pictures. I've seen this referenced as the model MC1. I've seen dates, in terms of dates of manufacture, anywhere from 1951 to 1962. I don't think it's 51. I mean, I just don't. I think it's probably 60s vintage, and probably mid to late 60s vintage. When I look at the serial number, I've kind of exhausted all Wurlitzer resources on the internet to figure out what this was, when it was made, if there's any kind of schematic on it. It has a Gerard, whatever, turntable. As you can see, I've already messed around with it. Again, don't know what its rated power is or anything like that. It does work, which is kind of cool. I just want to play a little bit of sound for you. Sounds decent. There is a slight imbalance. The left channel is a little bit louder than the right channel. I'm hoping it's a switch issue. Sorry, I had to pause recording there for a second. So anyway, I've tested it out. Sounds good. The turntable works, so I'll show you that. It does spin a little bit slow when you start it off in auto. So let me release that. Get this set up and kind of show you what it does. Oops. Weird. Okay. So put it to auto. Put it to phono. So right there, it's got a little bit of a slow start to it. It's dropping in the proper position. So got some Johnny Rivers playing. I don't know if you can hear it, but you can hear the idler rubbing on the platter. So I'm sure the idler, once I get in there, it's probably hardened. All right, it's probably no longer rubber, probably plastic. Get that to the end. It should return, shut itself off. And should stop, hopefully. There it goes. All right. So in terms of basic functionality, it seems to work. What I'll have to do is I'm going to see if I can get underneath this or on the back side of it or whatever, clean these controls, and then work on the turntable a little bit. This is not really worth a whole lot of time. Now, one thing I did notice about these when I was looking for pictures of them, they could either be like a tabletop unit or they could be installed in a console and look like they were either screwed in or bracketed in. These don't look like feet that would, I mean, the feet don't really fit it. I don't know that they would make it like that. So, and I did see some evidence of like some screw holes on the bottom. So maybe this was screwed into a console on a little table or something like that. It does have tape input and output. You can have remote speakers. The way the speakers are hooked up is they share a common ground. Then you have left and right channel. And then FM and AM antenna. Here's the model number. I don't know, you probably can't see it. It's 100cc. Serial number is C-2049. Again, I tried to look up Wurlitzer model numbers, dates of manufacture, given that serial number, and they really don't have anything other than information for Wurlitzer pianos and organs out there. So this one's kind of an oddball. So anyway, what I'm going to do is move the camera up top, see what I can do to get inside of this thing, and I'll probably have to remove the turntable and then flip it over, and then get probably have to come up from the bottom, see if I can hit those switches and see what that does. But there won't be any money going into this at all. I can't tell. I don't think this had any type of lid or dust cover. I'm not sure though. I haven't found any photos with a dust cover installed on one of these. It's got the cartridge that you flip from like 78 to 33 and 45 and 16. This will take a 16 inch or 16 RPM actually, 16 RPM. So anyway, let me move the camera and take this thing apart and see what I can do. Well, I realized I wasn't recording what I just did. So let me show you what I did. I disassembled or removed the turntable. I took off one clip here and then the RCA cables. The idler is hard, so that's why it's making that noise. I have to see if I can get another one of these somewhere. Looks like a Gerard, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce that, Gerard Model 50. So I have to get a new idler. It does not appear as though I can reach the switches from up top. Oh, well, you know, actually, no, yeah, actually I can. Yeah, I can see all the pots from right here. The only ones I really can't see, oh yeah, no, I can get to those too. I can get to everything from up top, which is good. So I'm going to just grab some fader lube, clean these controls, and then I'm going to test to see what that does in terms of sound. Let's see if there's any date stamp in here. It says manufactured by General Instrument of Canada Limited. Right there for the Wurlitzer company. So that may give me something to go on. Sometimes these capacitors... I'm trying to find my reading glasses because I'm blind as a bat. Sometimes these capacitors will have date codes. I don't see any date codes on these coils. Let's see. Oh, 66. Yep, August 66. So I was pretty close. I said mid 60s, mid to late 60s. So, sweet. Alright, so let me get some cleaner in here. Spray these controls. There has been some work done. It looks like somebody changed the bulb. Or changed a bulb. Let me show you this. It's not even in the spot it's supposed to be in. It's just hanging out back here. So there's a lamp that's supposed to go somewhere. Looks like, man, I don't know what that would go to. Looks like there's some kind of light. Oh, it's the stereo light. Oh, I see. So it's the FM stereo light. And what whoever did has done is they just taped it together. So that's super sketchy. I don't even know if that light is working. Let me plug this in, turn it on. I don't have an antenna, so I may not actually get any stereo reception. Let me connect this here to the antenna posts. I lost a speaker wire. Man, I'm a mess. I took last week off and just worked on my own projects, didn't film anything. It was kind of nice. Well, yeah, I didn't film a lot of the steps of these projects that I'm working on. So I want to make sure nothing's going to short anything. Let me see if that stereo light comes on. And alright, this tape phono, I assume that FMX is multiplex stereo, and I'm not getting a light, so. So what I'll do is I'm going to clean these switches first, see what happens with the sound, and then I will measure these wires for voltage, see what size lamp this would take, And the problem is it fits into a little teeny tiny hole. So, I don't know. I'll have to see if I can figure out something for that. Only if I get the sound imbalance fixed. I don't see any... These are some transistors, I think. There are some adjustment pots, but that probably wouldn't have any effect on the left-right channel balance. Again, without a service manual, what do you do? I mean, the only thing I can really do with this is try to get it to where it sounds okay, and go from there. All right, so let me get to cleaning these pots, and then we'll come back and test for sound and see what's going on. Well, kind of some bummer news on this. It's the amplifier or preamp section where the channel imbalance is. Probably some capacitors out of spec or something like that. The multiplexer is not multiplexing. The tape monitor inputs, one of them has become detached, which isn't a big deal. But this is one of those I need to talk to the shop owner and see what he wants to do, if he wants to put any money into this. If he doesn't, I may throw this into the pile of wild goose chases or, you know, consoles to work on. But for right now, I'm going to set this to the side because I have like 4 other turntables I've got to work on. So I need to get with him, see what he wants to do. I'm going to end part 1 here. If there is a part 2, I will kind of explain to you what the owner wants to do, but for right now I'm not going to pursue repairing this any more than I already have. And you know, the bad thing about this is there are no comparable sales, right? So one of the things I do for the shop owner as well is kind of figure out what some of these will be worth. And, you know, like I've mentioned before, we can't give consoles away. I think this one's pretty cool. It's a tabletop console. I worked on another Zenith Allegro tabletop console, and, you know, that was in the shop for forever before I repaired it. And then I repaired it, you know, kind of did an evaluation, just a quick maintenance on it, and it's still just sitting there. So these are not particularly popular where I am. So anyway, I'm going to set this one to the side. I don't even think that's... I'll have to see if that's the right... Well, it was working though, so I'm sure it's the right one. I have to check it out. Anyway, this is going to go sit on one of my shelves for a little bit. So anyway, if you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll either catch you in part 2 or whatever the next video is going to be.